just want your everything, baby. Maybe later we can dance, never let go. Listen to our favorite songs on the radio. Losing up and lose ourselves to this feeling. Oh, I just want your everything, baby. I'll be deep under your influence tonight.
Alright, welcome again, guys, to another vlog. I'm just gonna run through a little bit, and we've been up here in Severa. Just got my ID back. They actually take your ID and hold it. So we are heading back home. It's a little overcast, and I have something interesting coming up. Alright, so we finally got our deed back here. Well, the heightened security, or whatever you want to call it, I think maybe once in 7 years they've asked me for an ID there, and they normally do that, but we have been up and by here so many times. So, and the guards recognizes us, but today they asked for an ID, and you have to drop it. You get a guest card. Well, there's a main reason for us to come up here. A friend of mine was looking for a place to live, and me and Janice as well has been talking about for quite a while to, we want to go down to Samar, where we have the property, and we would like to do something with it, maybe build a house and see where we can go with it. But everybody knows what happened in 2020, and that was the year we had planned to do that. So what we are doing now, we're downsizing. We live in a pretty big apartment, and I would say it's probably about 150 to 160 square meter or something like that. I think it's 6 by 15 or 12. 6 by 12 is what, 72 and upstairs, so that makes it about 140. I would say probably closer to 160 square meter. So we're going to downsize, cut down the cost a little bit, and downsize and get ready to possibly head down to Samar as soon as we can. Hopefully we should be able to do that. Janice had some cousins that are actually been traveling back and forth, and matter of fact, they just got down there last week, I think it was, and got through with no problem. There was a time there where you had to, you arrived in Tacloban, you had to quarantine yourself for 2 weeks there before we could travel on. And our property is about an hour north of Tacloban, right, and then another 45 minutes or so boat ride, and then you're out on the island. So we figured we downsize here and start getting ready, and once it happens, then we'll probably just, if it's cheap enough, the apartment, we'll just keep it. Even if we go to Samar and stay there, we just keep it. That way when we get back, we have a place to stay, and I'm not going to drag all the furniture and all that stuff down. Just put it on the truck and take it down there. It's going to cost a little bit more than it costs to buy new stuff. So, no. All right. So we are right down here in Mabalacat. There's a shortcut going from Mabalacat down to SM. So we're gonna take that route, trying to avoid the traffic. It's probably around 4 or 5 o'clock, and traffic gets intense through Mabalacat. So we are trying to avoid that. All right, I got a little off the topic, but anyway, so one of the major reasons I have been a little reluctant to go down to Samara and Dharam is the fact that that island basically have no internet, and if they have any, it's sure not good enough to do any kind of work. And even if I'm kind of semi-retired, I do a little bit of work here and there, and I depend on good internet because a lot of the stuff I do has to do with remote logins, and you know, if the internet is not good, that is kind of a setback. So anyway, we've been mentioning it, I think, on some of our live shows, but it looks like Elon Musk has started getting his stuff together, and I just got a message actually from Robbie, and he sent me an article, and that article kind of says that Musk assures affordable internet via SpaceX Starlink to be, I think he said, like fully mobile by the end of this year, and that was dated April 18. So anyway, and the good thing there is that you know, they were talking about we were going to get maybe 50 megabits or so through that system, but it appears that this broadband satellite is going to be able to provide speeds up to 300 Mbps. So I think they promised between 50 and 150 or something like that for the Starlink project. It's actually a massive project. I think it kind of includes close to 12,000 low orbit satellites. Out of those, 1,200 has already been placed in the orbit, and we heard now that we can actually make the deposits, get ready, and it's pretty interesting because this satellite system also will be not a whole lot of installation from what I understand. It's more like it obtains the signal by itself, and it's also going to be something they're going to use, you know, in remote areas for trucks, ships on the ocean, I guess, and a few other things. So it's a pretty interesting concept. So if that happens, then we will actually dart on down there and start looking at to see what we can do. Build us a bamboo hut. and I'm joking, but we'll go down there and start developing that a little bit. And I'm sure after a couple of years, nobody been there with literally hundreds and hundreds of coconut trees. I'm sure there's a lot of coconuts there and a lot of grass and a lot of cleanup needed to be done. So we got plenty of work. Here to the left you have always the security for Clark Security. They always have their motorcycles parked there for some reason. I guess they live behind the fence here. Alright, so enough of that. But it's going to be an interesting project to do, and you know, our plans are, you know, probably have a little Airbnb or something down there, and it'd be good to be able to provide good internet and contact with the outside world, which actually is not really available down there. I mean, people can get cell service, but you have to go out or try to get an amplifier on a pole so you can see the tower and that kind of stuff. So these satellites here are going to be cool. And if Globe and Smart could come up with same technology that AT&T, T-Mobile has with what do you call it, Wi-Fi, so you can connect to the Wi-Fi, you could actually get pretty good satellite signal and cell phone signal is the word I'm looking for. Anyway, look at these. We're coming down towards S7 now. For you guys that hasn't been here for a while, you see these. There's like 4 huge buildings on the right here. If you look at it, each one has a crane. At least the last 2. That has been coming up over the last couple of years. I have no clue what's going to be in there, but it almost looked like could be offices or condos or something like that. But massive buildings, and if you haven't been here for a couple of 3 years, you didn't see these things. Pretty interesting. Look at the size of them. And it looks like the bottom deck could be a parking garage as well, or something like that. So maybe I have to go up there and take the camera and ask around one of these days. Alright, so to the right is SM Clark. So we are almost home. It is pretty amazing. I've been here about 7 years now, 6.5, 7 years, and the infrastructure development. This road wasn't here when I moved here. It was just like a little dirt road up to the parking lot. Or maybe it was asphalt on it, but it was sure not 2 lanes and all that. Alright, so didn't make this light. Alright, some people are in a hurry. I've seen that these delivery guys grab, and I can't remember the other one, but some of those guys, they're driving like little crazy ones. Alright, so this trip is coming to an end, and thank you very much for riding with us. God bless, and we see you at the next one. And don't forget to subscribe if you haven't. We try to give you as much information we can about Philippines and current situation, what's going on here. Things change daily, but we will try to keep you guys up to speed on what happens from day to day. All right, that is it for today. Thank you for watching, and God bless.